Hey everyone, Tapdog here, and today I am recording a video that I've had requested from me for a while, and I wanted to share with you. I actually posted this on the Discord earlier today, so for those of you that are on the Discord, you kind of already know this, but I created a theoretical best deck that you can have in the game currently. As you may or may not know, there's I believe 4 new Onyx cards that were added to the game earlier this year. Villain, Wind, Energy, and Trident. So those 4 were the last of the... Trident was the last bronze combo card that hadn't been turned into an Onyx. And then Wind, Energy, and Villain were the last 3 of the free-to-play gold combo cards that hadn't been turned into Onyx. So those have all been... now created, and you can win them from Heroics using Onyx Goals, or you can get them from packs. Quite a few of them have already been released, except for Energy. Energy is still going to be coming out in a future pack, but all the other ones have already been released from packs since the beginning of this year. And so because of that, there's 1 new Onyx cards that can be created from them, and we have some great people on the Discord who've been posting about what those combos are and posting images too if you want to see them. But in addition to that, that means there's potentially a new theoretical best deck that could be created with those cards. So I went and took the Andersam Optimizer, and on there, another video I'm going to be making is just another one of the how to use the Andersam Optimizer. I've had a lot of people ask, and we have several videos on this channel already. So if you want to, you can always look that up on the channel, the Optimizer, and to watch a video on how to use it. But I'll make a new one and kind of show you how to use it as a beginner and then kind of more on the advanced side. But I wanted to show you what overrides I used to create this deck, and then I'll show you the deck after that. So let me pop up on the screen the overrides that I used. So first, in the Optimizer, you can choose what type of a mode you want to use. There's 4 options, but the 3 that kind of matter for the purposes of this conversation is the one that I've selected, which is Sum. And what that does is it looks at the attack level and the defense level of the card that you're creating, and will combine those together to create a number. So for example, if you're using Onyx Horse and Onyx Spirit, it makes Spectral Rider, which is a 39 attack, 30 defense. You add those 2 together, that would be a card with a total stat of 69. Okay, make sense? So the other 2 options you can choose for the override would be option 2, which is attack. So using that same option as before, the Spectral Rider, 39 attack, 30 defense, it would only look at the 39 attack and use that as its score. It wouldn't look at how much the defense adds to the score. And then finally, there's the flip of that, the defensive side. So if you want to make a deck that's fully defensive, you could use the override number 3, which is for defense. And in that case, the Spectral Rider being 39-30, the score you would get was 30 for that combo. Make sense? So again, for the purposes of creating the best theoretical deck, I'm looking at the sum. So it's adding the attack and defense of the card. Next, I have the lowest combo worth counting. So I just talked about the sum being 39 plus 30 for that Spectral Rider, so it's 69. So because I put in here a override of 65, that means it's only going to count combos that the cards make that are worth 65 total score or above. So Spectral Rider being 69 total would be included, but a lower quality combo like... oh gosh, can't even think. That stupid Time Wizard one that's sometimes a 30-30 and it gives you a 60 total, that one would not be included. Although if it's 2 Onyxes combined, it would be 33-33, which is a 66, and that would be included. So just wanted to include that in here. Step value, all that's doing is it's clumping together all of the cards at one level. So 65s all count as 65s. 66s all count as 67 points, so on and so forth. If I had changed this to a 2, it would have put 65 and 66 together as one score. 67, 68 as one score, and so on and so forth. So step value of 1 when you're at this high of a level is actually a lot better, and that's why I have it that way. Next is copy reduction. So what this does is it's kind of backwards to what you'd think. So it shows 70% here. And so what that means is each time you have a card added into your deck, so Superhero, let's say, and let's say Superhero, when it added up all of the combos that were worth counting, it had a score of 1,000. Then the next time Superhero shows up, instead of being 1,000 points for that one, it's only 70% of the value. So it'd be 700 for that one rather than the 1,000 points that it was worth. So it reduces it to 70% of the value for the second copy. And then if that still makes it, if it goes to the third copy, it would then be another 70% reduction, or not a 70% reduction, it would be 70% of the value of 700. So I don't know what that is. I did 500 something or something, whatnot. But that's what this copy reduction does. So the higher that number is, 80, 90%, the more often you'll have duplicate cards. I put this down to 70% because that feels like it's a good balanced area where you might have one or two cards that gets a duplicate, but the more duplicates you have, the more often you'll have dead hands because Superhero plus Superhero, for example, they don't combo together. And so if you have that happen, you have Toy plus Toy, those don't combo together. Those types of things can lead to dead hands, especially if you have multiples of the same cards. Not every card combos with itself. In fact, most cards don't combo with itself, unfortunately. So that 70% seemed to be the best middle ground where I still had a couple duplicate cards, but not enough that it would create a dead hand. And then the only other thing that matters on this screen for the override is the fusion buff. I put it at 100% because theoretically what I put in here is all the Onyx cards, 3 copies, fused. So it doesn't, they should get no buff for being a fused card. So that's why I left it at 100%, meaning the card's value is exactly what it's supposed to be. So then I ran the optimizer doing the long version. It took about an hour because what it does is it does every one of the 55 Onyx cards as the starting card, and it creates the best theoretical deck that card could create. I did it over and over again with all 55 cards, and it takes a little over a minute to do each one that way. So that's why it took about an hour for me to run this. But at the end of the day, I ended up with the following deck. And I've sorted this alphabetical, so it's not sorted by quality of the combo, it's just sorted alphabetically. But here is our full list of the best deck possible, and it looks like it might, yeah, it does have a little bit cut off, so I am going to reduce the size of this just a tad bit, just so I can get all the combos on there. I think that's all of them. Oh no, we still have Wizard too, so let me make this just a little bit smaller. This is a 35 card deck, so this is 30 combo cards, and then the other 5 or 6 cards would be final form. So it's only showing you the top 30 cards here because your theoretical best deck is going to have 30 combo cards and then 5 to 6 final form cards. So leave this on the screen for you to see. I was looking at it earlier. I have the majority of these cards already, so I was excited about that. I do not have Energy Onyx. So that's one I'm going to have to try to get. And then the only other one I don't have is I only have a single copy of Sci-Fi. I do not have 2 copies of Sci-Fi, but everything else in this pack I do have. Bear I have unfused, but all the rest of them I have fused copies of. So I'm really excited that I'm very, very close to being able to create this perfect deck. It's not the perfect deck. It's the most powerful currently that you could create. And again, as a reminder, this specifically is looking at the total score that it got. So quite a few of these decks were very close in score in terms of how many combos it makes that are worth counting. But this one had about, I think, 5% more than all the rest. So it was just slightly better. I think part of the reason why is, like Bear, it makes 14 combos that are 70 or above, which is really powerful for it. Same thing with Sci-Fi. That's why there's 2 copies of Sci-Fi there, because it makes, I think, 11 or 12 70-plus combos. Superhero is the same way. It's got 10 or 11 or 12 70-plus combos. So that explains why quite a few of those, or both Sci-Fi and Superhero specifically, have multiples. I don't think there's any other duplicates besides those 2. And thankfully, if you were to get Sci-Fi both copies of sci-fi and both copies of superhero in your hand, they combo with each other. Sci-fi and superhero, that is. So you're never going to have a dead hand from that. The biggest area where you could potentially have some issues is like if you had undead and elf combined together, but even then, I don't think there's anything else that the two of them don't combo with. Oh, hammer. So if you had those three together and then two superheroes or two... No, superhero would combo with them, so you're fine in that situation. But that's the closest you come to a potentially dead hand, is if you got elf, hammer, and undead, and then you had two final form cards. That's really the only time you'll really have a dead hand in this situation. Otherwise, it combos all well together. Great deck to choose and show, but I just wanted to show this to you guys, give you an idea of what the current best theoretical deck would be. And with that being said, I think that's everything for today. So hope you have a good rest of your day.